All right. Right now, yeah, we're just kind of focusing on, doing the basics. Auburn has a high potent, run offense, averaging 300 plus yards a game. So we have a task on our hands this week.
All right, first question comes from Todd Palmer of the Kansas City Star.
Hey, Donovan. Looking at this matchup, it's kind of strength on strength. You guys are very good against the run. Obviously, you mentioned they are a very good running team. So what's the key to shutting down that read option and keeping that contained?
The key to that is basically you have to have each guy has to know his assignment at any given time. We have a gap defense, so if one guy gets out his gap, that could be bad for our defense. And so we're just focusing on, knowing your assignment, basic stuff, fundamentals. You have the quarterback. You have to stay with the quarterback. Marshall's obviously he's a great runner, probably the best runner other than Manziel that we faced this year. And so we're just focusing on, knowing our assignment and being in our gap when we're supposed to be there.
Why does it seem like it's easier said than done to maintain that responsibility against an offense like this?
An offense like this, you just have to do it. I mean, if like I said, if you mess up one gap, man, you go for a big run. And we're just going to study film a lot, not more than we already been doing. Just going to focus on the basics, like I said, and just try to execute when we need to execute.
Thanks, Donovan.
Next question comes from Edward Ashoff of ESPN.com.
Yeah, Donovan, going back to that running game, how difficult is it to stop a running game like this that kind of looks like a spread, but they have a lot of power, they have some triple option in there, and obviously the read option?
It's very difficult. It's not an easy offense to stop. They do a lot of motion, so guys, especially at my position, linebacker, you have to focus on looking at your keys and knowing what's going on instead of looking at the fly motion and like zone read. They can pull it out and run with the quarterback. Sometimes they can raise up and pass it. So I mean, it's really a triple threat offense, man. And, you just have to be cautious of what's going on around you and not get caught up in all the other stuff and just focus on what's in front of you. So you got to trust your keys as a linebacker, and also safeties rerun too. So if they scream downhill and it's play action, that could be a big pass also. So we're just going to focus on trusting our eyes.
How important is it for that defensive line to be able to help you guys out at linebacker to make sure that they don't get to the second level?
It's very important. I mean, like I said, everyone has a gap, and if the defensive line can get pressure and keep some of those athletic linemen that Auburn have off of the linebackers, and that can help us. That's a big key.
Thanks.
Next question is from David Pascal of the Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Donovan, staying on that same kind of topic. I mean, your defensive ends especially have been so good getting that vertical pressure. With what Auburn does that kind of negate what your defensive ends can do as far as that goes, as far as, just racking up the big stat and tackle for loss stats?
It can kind of, neutralize that, but our defensive ends are pretty athletic, physical guys. They can get to the ball also. And, I mean, really, if they keep doing what they've been doing all year, then we should be fine. Like I said, Auburn has pretty athletic linemen, guys that can get to the second level, sometimes even third level. It's just our job as linebackers to try to shut off those blocks, and the D-line job to try to, neutralize those blocks and chip off on linemen so we can get to the backfield.
Like I said, I mean, you guys they've been getting the tackles for loss and the sacks. What team has had the most success running the ball this year, would you say, against you guys?
Running the ball against us. A lot of teams have had success, but it's what we do on the sideline to adjust to that. So if you look at most of the games, guys have had big runs against us. We just go to the sideline. Coach Steck gets with us, Coach Cool, and we'll just adjust and find out what we did wrong in that play. And that comes from the guys upstairs in the press box. They do a great job of that. And we just try to limit our mistakes. So if we make a mistake once, we do a good job of not making that same mistake.
Thanks.
Next question is from Dwayne Rankin of the Montgomery Advertiser.
Yes, sir. Just a couple of things. One, Auburn, not only do they spread you and have all these read option and pass off of it, but they do it at a pace that most teams don't. How much will that factor in? You're talking about trusting your eyes. Well, if the ball getting ready to be snapped in the next 5 or so seconds, I mean, how do you guys adjust it? I know you played against it with A&M, but Auburn seems to run it just a little bit faster than most.
Yeah, I mean, fastball is we're accustomed to fastball, man. I mean, our offense does it in practice at a tempo that I believe no team has done this year. So we do it actually faster in practice just to prepare in case something like this happens. And we're pretty good with fastball, man. We've played fastball in my years here. We've played a lot of fastball teams coming from Big 12 to SEC. So fastball is kind of a trend now that teams are trying to go to because you get guys that are tired, and when you're tired and fatigued, you don't focus on what's going on and what's in front of you. So we do a good job of training and being aware of what's going on even in our tired situations.
Okay, just to follow up, Michael Sam obviously having a great year. What makes him the player that he is?
Really, Michael Sam just has something that a lot of guys don't have, and that's just drive and determination. Just like I said, coming in, he was a two-star recruit, man, and a guy that I watched grow over the years, and he's just a beast on the field, and I watched him mature on and off the field, and he's obviously having a great year, and he helps his defense out a lot. He's become a leader. He was in the shadow of some great defensive ends over his years. Alden Smith, even Jacquez Smith, D lineman. He was overshadowed by Sheldon Richardson last year, and it's his time to shine. And he stepped into that role, and he's really excelled at a level that no one expected.
Thank you, sir.
Next question is from David Morrison of the Columbia Daily Tribune.
Hey, Donovan. I was just wondering, how difficult do you think it's going to be after such an emotional win with such high stakes to kind of come back and get refocused on another big game this week?
Our job right now is just we're past that big win. It was obviously a big win, but we don't have time in this conference to dwell on the past. So we're already on Auburn right now, and we do a good job of letting stuff go. Even when we had a loss to South Carolina, we had to let that go, and we did a good job of that. So that game was big. Obviously people are still on that, but we're pretty much on Auburn right now. They're a great team, so just not focus on them for the slightest could hurt us in a major way.
Do you see any sort of parallels between you guys and Auburn? I mean, both coming off the tough years you had, and both people not expecting much out of you before the season. I mean, what sort of parallels do you see?
It's just two teams that had rough years, and I think what they did, they probably did the same thing we did. And as after a tough season, you grab a group of guys, and you set goals, and seniors get together and set goals about how you want the team to do and where you want the team to go. And they trusted in our coaching staff, and they got back to work. And obviously they're having a great year. We both had tough years last year, both coming off big wins. They had a great win against Alabama. We had a great win against Texas A&M. Our situations are pretty much identical. I mean, and it's really exciting, man. That's what SEC football is all about. I mean, if you knew that the two teams that had some of the toughest seasons in the SEC last year would be in the SEC title game, then people wouldn't believe that. So it's really just what's so beautiful about SEC football, man, and this conference. It's a great conference, and so it should be a good game out there Saturday.